Greetings and beyond the new, everyone. Alien Star here. And today I'm going to talk about a series that is held very close to my heart uh, because of the time I was born and the fun I had with it, and its current state, along with most of the current states of all children's cartoon shows and cartoon shows in general in today's era. We're talking about none other than Ben 10. The Ben 10 reboot has been out for quite some time now. And though I had problems with it initially, I didn't think it was too big of a deal to make a video about it, rant about it, and so on and so forth. But seeing the trailer for the new season that's coming out, I that crossed a line that I felt like I had to bring up. Because it's a problem to me, and I'm sure it's a problem to a lot of older fans like me when they see their favorite franchise in the situation that it's in and being portrayed to the newer generation in a way where it wasn't supposed to be portrayed in. Where to start? I suppose I'll start with the aliens, because almost all of the aliens present in the reboot were present at some point in time in the original series, but with some minor differences. The biggest difference is Stinkfly and Water Hazard, in terms of their design, anyways. Let's start with Stinkfly, because I feel like he's the one that suffers most in terms of design. Stinkfly was an alien that was insectoid. He looked like a giant alien bug. That was the theme. The theme was that he was gross, disgusting, he smelled, and the color of his skin portrayed that. Stinkfly's art design was perfect for what the alien needed to do in the series. But for the reboot, Stinkfly just loses all of that. In the reboot, Stinkfly is bright, which doesn't portray a toxic smell or anything disgusting or vile. He's not inherently insectoid like he was in the original. Like, yes, he has bug eyes, antennae, and wings, but other than that, he really just looks like a guy in a fly suit. He loses a lot of the inspiration that the original Stinkfly had, and what made the original Stinkfly so great. The point of Ben 10 was to show you these aliens. Aliens, meaning they weren't supposed to exist. They're not supposed to look like they come from our world, and they're not supposed to share our beliefs in biology. Stinkfly suffers from this the most because of the dramatic change in his design. Stinkfly in the reboot does not look like an alien. He looks like a knockoff of the Tick. It's really bad, in my opinion. Water Hazard is a little less bad. I know he's not called Water Hazard in the reboot, but I mean, he's red like Water Hazard, and he has the same general theme that Water Hazard had. So I'm just gonna call him Water Hazard. Water Hazard is a little bit better. I'd say that they certainly helped in his design a little bit with the way he holds his water and all that, but it still gives off the same disappointing feeling that Stinkfly does. It's not. It doesn't glorify the original, and it really just brings down the character of Water Hazard. So now let's talk about Vilgax, who, in my personal opinion, before the reboot, was one of the best villains of all time. No matter what franchise he was in, Vilgax was one of the best villains that I have ever seen. His design was flawless. I loved how he looked. His attitude, flawless. He was an evil dictator who wanted nothing more but to get the Omnitrix just to conquer worlds. That's all he had. And I felt that that was amazing for a character like that to have. You would in no way, shape, or form see Vilgax team up with Ben 10 because they were mortal enemies. Never have they ever needed to team up, and even if they were in a situation where they needed to team up, I doubt that they ever would. In the reboot, yeah, they team up. Um, and in my personal opinion, if done correctly, a team up between the hero and the villain can mean a lot in terms of character development. But in this series, character development is lacking. A lot of the lessons Ben learns in the series of the reboot, he forgets in the next episode. And it becomes a constant problem because the character never. Regardless, from what I've seen with Vilgax, they treat him more as a villain of the week than an overall threat. And it just ruins the character. It ruins the feel that the original character was supposed to portray. And I guess that's the overarching problem with the reboot of Ben 10, is the fact that it revokes and ignores all of the personality that the original portrayed in its characters. Ben was always the hot-headed, not necessarily in the know character who was really cocky in his abilities, but at the end of the series, learned how to be a good and proper hero and learned not to be selfish with his powers. Gwen was always the tech-savvy, kind of in-your-face girl who usually turned out right, but she also had flaws. And she grew as a character. So did Grandpa Max. So did the entire cast grew as characters. Even Kevin 11, an individual who was a villain in the first run of the show, became a good guy in the second, third, and fourth run of the show. And the reboot misses a lot of that. And that's where most of my problems come from. My other problems that I have are all about continuity and how the world of this reboot works. In the original, the Omnitrix was a device created to form a bridge between all alien life forms in the universe. It was created by a Galvan named Azimuth, who, though was originally an individual who didn't necessarily like the society of the galaxy and found the bad in people, no matter how good they were, he still created this device to help the universe. And the Omnitrix itself has limitations when Ben first gets it. It has a timer. It sometimes picks the wrong aliens, and Ben has to constantly be on his toes when that happens. A lot of that is missing in the series. A lot of the world building that made the original series so great is lost in this series. I mean, in the reboot, Kevin 11 gets his own Omnitrix. How does he do it? How does he do it? He gets the schematics in a dream, and he builds it out of scraps and parts. A 10-year-old child built an Omnitrix. And it's confusing with the reboot because they have a series that's focused all about the alien homeworlds. So they're trying to get a sense for the universe, but they're also choosing to ignore the laws and rules that are supposed to be there. Another great example with this is what forced me to make this video, is the new series involving armored aliens. Yes, the Omnitrix can give aliens armor. There's a lot of problems with that. That's not what the Omnitrix is designed to do. It's designed to hold and infuse the DNA of other alien species into the user in order for them to transform into that specific species. Azimuth made it very clear that the Omnitrix was not designed as a weapon. So, why are they trying to make it a weapon in the reboot? Well, there's a simple explanation. Profit. At the end of the day, kids' cartoons are very different from what they were back then. Now, kids' cartoons are just a way to sell toys and merchandise. And what's gonna get kids to want to buy these toys? Well, if aliens aren't good enough, armored aliens with gimmicks. The show isn't being treated with respect. It's being treated as a poster. It's being treated as a means to an end.